In an age of indulgence, power, and ambition, one young man chose silence over splendor, humility over honor, and holiness over everything. His name was Aloysius Gonzaga, and his life was like a spark. Brief, but brilliant. He died before he turned 24, but his soul had already touched eternity. This is the story of a youth who chose God, when everything around him pulled in the opposite direction. Aloysius was born in 1568 into the powerful Gonzaga family, rulers of a principality in northern Italy. From birth, the world was his. Titles, castles, wealth, and prestige. He was groomed for military and political greatness. By age 4, he was already wearing a sword and armor. By age 8, he served in the court of powerful nobles. The temptations of pride, pleasure, and ambition surrounded him like perfume in the palace halls. But Aloysius saw something more. At a very young age, he was drawn to prayer, not just childish recitation. Deep, quiet, consuming prayer. He read the lives of the saints. He fasted. He meditated for hours. He consecrated his purity to God before reaching his teenage years. His family tried to pull him back, gently at first, then forcefully. How could the heir to the Gonzaga name become a mere priest? But Aloysius stood firm. At 17, he gave up his title, his inheritance, and his future, and entered the Jesuit novitiate in Rome. In the Society of Jesus, he sought no honor. He cleaned floors, served the sick, begged for food, and gave himself completely to obedience. But his spiritual life was anything but ordinary. He struggled with severe scrupulosity, fearing even the smallest sin. Spiritual directors, including Saint Robert Bellarmine, helped him trust more in God's mercy than in his own effort. And over time, his purity of heart became a reflection of God's peace, not anxiety. In 1591, a plague swept through Rome. Many fled the city. Aloysius, now 23, volunteered to serve the sick and dying. He tended their wounds. He carried them on his back. He washed their sores. He prayed over them. Eventually, he caught the disease himself. As he lay dying, his greatest fear was being too attached to the reward of heaven. He wanted only to love, not even for the sake of paradise, but simply because God is worthy of love. On June 21st, 1591, he died with the name of Jesus on his lips. He was canonized in 1726 and named patron saint of youth. But Saint Aloysius is more than just a young man in a white robe. He's a challenge to every generation that it's possible to live with purity in a world of confusion, with humility in a culture of ego, and with love in a time of selfishness. In an age of distractions and endless scrolling, what does Aloysius say to us? He says, silence is possible, prayer is possible, holiness is possible, and you don't need to be old to be a saint. You just need to give God everything. Saint Aloysius Gonzaga never founded a religious order. He never wrote a book. He never preached to thousands, but his life, hidden, pure, and burning with love, still echoes through the centuries. Let his example inspire us to live, not for applause, but for heaven. It is better to be a child of God than king of the whole world. Saint Aloysius Gonzaga, if you were moved by this story, give the video a like, share it with someone in need of inspiration, and subscribe for more stories of the saints who light the path to God.